this issue, and it's amazing. The public is really not, for the most part, demanding this. You maybe have 10% of the public that is aware of it, and many politicians are running from this issue. However, I have gotten Shalene Nightingale, who is running for governor here in California. She's openly spoken about it. I have a video of that, which can be found on my website. And I've also spoken on video as well on Truth Media Productions with Mark Reed, who's running for Congress. Very few, though, have been willing to openly talk about this because I think the opposition has done such a great job of demonizing anybody that questions the status quo. These politicians don't want to touch it. And it's very disturbing because, let me tell you, we are in a complete crisis. And many
it does seem that we've got a shadow government doing these things and thinking it can get away with anything with complete impunity. And so it just really wouldn't surprise me at all if this is as bad as you're suggesting it is. Getting back to that geoengineering conference that you visited, were they talking about any other purposes for this other than trying to slow down alleged global warming? The term geoengineering seems pretty broad. It sounds like they could be engineering the planet into whatever form they want. What other projects do they have in mind besides slowing global warming?
Well, that was the only stated goal. And again, like we were talking about, I think it has many different dimensions to it. They even admitted they are literally geoengineering the ocean currently. They're dumping tons of iron in the ocean, and they say it's to reduce or take out the CO2 which is in the ocean. I'm on the beach right now doing this interview. I'm looking at the ocean. Many fish are dying. The reefs are dying in the ocean. People are scratching their heads, not knowing why it's happening. And I'm not an expert at all within the ocean geoengineering, but I think it merits I think it merits a closer look of investigation. However, we do know that they are spraying, and we do know what it's doing to the environment, and we do know what it's doing to the health of people. For instance, respiratory mortality just 5 years ago was number 8 on the mortality list. Today, it is number 3 on the mortality list.
Well, I'm sorry, how long ago was it number 8?
5 years ago.
Just 5 years ago?
And now it's number 3. During that time, we've seen a tremendous increase of reports worldwide of the aerosol spraying. One can only assume that this is a cause or a partial cause to it.
It sounds plausible. As far as the testing that you're urging people to do, is there anybody with university affiliation that's doing this kind of testing or that's speaking out about this?
There is, and there is a professor who is in Japan who I've been in contact with, and he's actually making this part of his curriculum. Other who are a part of uncovering this, I mean, we spoke about David Keith. He's in the number 3 geoengineer in the world at the University of Calgary. Keith, Ken Caldeira, who is the number 1 geoengineering guy, and he is, I believe, up at Stanford. These guys are promoting this. They're telling us how good these programs will be once they implement it. Of course, they have financial stake in many of the companies that are going to be profiting or currently are profiting from these. So we also have, I am flying out to Belgium in a couple of weeks to go out and address many public officials, the press, and then groups for about 4 or 5 days. So a mayor in Belgium actually saw some of my work, my articles, my videos, and he invited me to come out and give a lecture on this. So yeah, I mean, we're addressing this. I believe we're addressing it to Parliament.
Really?
So,
well, that's fantastic.
Absolutely. I'm telling you, we are at the beginning of this thing really coming to light because it is affecting so many people in so many ways. And on heavy spraying days, go to any emergency room when you see a heavy spraying day. I guarantee it's going to be packed, and people are going to be experiencing the same thing: shortness of breath, headache, flu-like symptoms. Some people that are very chemical sensitive, man, it really is affecting them. And people are scratching their head, not making the connection.
Well, Mike, how can people get a hold of the equipment necessary to perform these tests? How much they cost? I'm sure some of my listeners might be interested in checking this out, seeing if their local areas are polluted.
Sure. I believe that you can get, once you get your results, either go up to snow, do a rain test. You can put a pan or something out when it rains. And what you can do, you submit a test. I believe it's about $20. And you can also do pH tests in your soil and in other areas, and you can get pH strips at many different stores. Go to geoengineeringwatch.org. There has complete testing instructions on that website. It's very good. So check that out for more info on that. And you can also email Francis Mangels, retired 35-year soil biologist, at, I believe it's bioguy0311 at fbcglobal.net. And again, his name is Francis Mangels. Very open. He realizes the crisis that we're in, and he's doing what he can. He's also working with other scientists now, trying to make them aware of what's going on.
And I wish my own efforts to make Christians aware of the discrepancies surrounding the official version of 9/11 has been a long, slow uphill slog, although gradually more and more people have awakened to that. And this is an issue, though, where one would think that people's curiosity would be aroused and that the opportunity to go out and do $20 tests on soil and water would be something that a lot of university-affiliated researchers might be willing to do. Maybe should people be contacting their local universities and asking questions about this?
Well, I don't know, because again, you got to realize where the funding has come from. So what I would do, because this has been hidden for so long, I would just take the matter into your own hands. Why would you trust a different source to give you information? My advice is do the research on your own and do the testing on your own and send it into independent labs. I think, it will just be a short matter of time before people in the universities start waking up, because we're doing what we can to make people aware of the issue. But you have to also realize, while many people are becoming more and more aware, there's still a large number of people who haven't a clue. And I look back and I say, how foolish was I? Because now it's become the center point of my life to educate people and wake people up on this. But, God, I went a number of years with these things above my head, and I even questioned, why is the sky different? But I just didn't make the connection. So, I don't know. I mean, that's definitely something that we may, an approach that we may want to take, but let's not be dependent on any university, on any government entity. Let's go out and do the research ourselves and try and wake as many people up as we can, because I'm telling you, the reason I'm doing this is we are in and I can't stress this enough, a major crisis. Our forests are dying. Our fish are dying. The salmon run up in Shasta County, I just want to mention this. It has decreased in the past 5 years, decreased 95%. So they have only 5% of the salmon that they used to have. And when I was with Francis Mangels shooting the documentary, we did a test in a stream, and it was to collect bugs. And we yielded, on the test that Francis did, we yielded 30 bugs. And I said, Francis, what was the yield of bugs that you used to get 10 years ago before the program started? He used to get 1,000 bugs. So they've seen a huge decrease. That's like a 98, I believe, I'm not a mathematician, decrease in the amount of bugs. And I said, well, what's happening to the fish? He said, well, Mike, they're starving to death. They're starving to death. And I said, why? He said, well, there's been an ecological change, and the bugs aren't there for the fish to feed on. So everything's dying, man. And if the fishermen would just get a hold of this and realize what's happening, oh, my God, there would be an outrage.
Well, if that level of decline were happening everywhere, it would undoubtedly be visible. So clearly there must be some discrepancies in local effects. For instance, where we are, there still appear to be plenty of bugs, and the fish levels don't look that different from how they were 10 years ago, as far as I know. My son's a fisherman. So how does one explain these kinds of discrepancies?
Well, I don't know. Show me the results, or contact Francis Mangos, because the results that we're coming up with, and I do know that we're seeing a huge decline in fish. It's not just in Shasta County, but it is worldwide.